45, take 1.
Slate 9, take 1.
Select 36, take 1.
Episode 2, Chris, that was your script.
That was my one.
That was my, oh yeah, so Chris.
Literally his one.
His one. Hang on, didn't this happen in season 1?
Yeah.
Where we all got together,
Yeah.
and then we divided up the script.
Right,
Chris is like, I'll write more this time.
I'll write more this time. I'll do more than one. I didn't. Wrote one.
I've not seen it. You contributed overall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the overall shape of it. But episode-wise, I just give my all to that one 10 to 12 page script.
Yeah.
And then I move on, and
Yeah.
I leave it to the rest of them. Do I go on set? No, don't do that either. Nightmare.
Well, no, you were because
Do I sit
he's
in
in
the
an
suite?
he's in
Nah.
an episode coming up later, actually. So
Oh,
he
yeah.
does come on set.
Yeah, that's
He
even
literally
better.
walked on, filmed it, and left again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
doesn't hang around.
got the flu after that,
No.
and I blame it on the filming. It's
Yeah.
so intense because I put a lot into the character. Anyway, episode 2. So already by having to lose a cast member and having to kill one off, that's going to affect the tone. There's nothing really you can do about that. If you're going to have to kill a character off, which I think
Yeah.
was the right thing to do, there was no other satisfying explanation, I don't think. I think it had to be a character death. And yeah, it's a shame we've had to do it off screen, but we've done it, and then that's going to set the tone for that episode. So it is quite a dark episode.
It was too dark originally.
It was too dark originally. Side did a draft which was sort of fueled
Bonkers.
by too much Walking Dead,
Yeah.
and it was a little bit grim. So we pulled that back, and what I wrote was still fairly dark, but it was a bit more.
It was just less. I mean, originally
Yours
it
was
was
grim.
it was
It
like
was-
a whole gang of very menacing people that was sort of had taken to the woods in the wake of what had happened, and they were stealing from people. They'd killed intentionally, and they were just
Right.
nasty, basically.
Yeah, it was a bit more. It was way more Walking Dead than it was.
It just wasn't Horizon.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
exactly.
Yeah.
So the idea of this, because it's actually kind of quite sad that this
Yeah.
farmer has kind of
Yeah.
gone a bit crazy because he's lost his son, and obviously now he's got the ship there. So it's still dark, but it's more in keeping with the tone of the show.
Totally, and I think my thinking behind the episode is we've got a lot of different characters, but I was interested in how different kinds of people would respond to this event happening. So this ship appearing, and how people would react to that. And this was an idea for someone who was reacting in quite a strange way. I wanted someone who wasn't doing the same thing. He either wasn't running, wasn't scared, but it was something else, and that something else is it was almost a hopeful thing for him, and almost a bit of an obsession, and that's where it came around.
Brilliantly played by Victor Patak as well.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah,
That was a nice way, actually, because we did struggle in a lot of this season to bring in as many new actors as we wanted to, just because we didn't have the space for it. But that was a nice way for one episode we could get someone new in, and he could do obviously some great work.
Also, I think it was nice because Victor was a different age to you guys, so it's like and it lends a bit of gravitas, it lends a bit of variety to the show, and I think rather than it just being full of populated by 20 and 30 somethings, you know what I mean?
And it was a nice chance as well to kind of spend some time with Stephen and Katie, because we'd seen them obviously interact in season 1, but obviously a lot of it was under they were under a lot of pressure. Obviously they were quite frosty with each other, and we'd not really had a chance to develop that and take that where we wanted it to go. And actually we only had Kessie, who played Katie, for the first 3 episodes, so we thought we need to bring their arc to some kind of a conclusion, and I thought your script did a nice job of giving them that moment to sort of bond.
We filmed 18 months after the first series, so that was quite a considerable amount of time, and during that time I'd cut all of my hair off, so we had to find a wig and source a wig. Well, not we, I didn't, it was found for me, and getting a colour match was a bit tricky, but actually I think it's a pretty good match, and I don't think you can tell that it's a wig. Getting back into the character again was really nice, all of the kind of makeup and the dark clothes. And then this time we filmed in the summer. So when we filmed the first series, it really was in the middle of the winter and it was freezing cold, and I had a jumper, a jacket and a coat, and I was still freezing. And this time it was in the summer, so I had, the jacket and the coat, and I was absolutely boiling. But it was really nice to come back, and it was really nice to see how the story had progressed. Working out how to stand up with each other was quite interesting, especially as Paul is considerably taller than me, so kind of pushing up and standing up together was interesting.
1, 2, 3.
cat comedy. Sorry, we'll be out then once you see it. That was great.
But yeah, it was really nice to play the angsty kind of teenager Katie again, although a little bit more mature than last time, kind of realising the seriousness of the situation. But it was really fun and it was really nice to be back.
Episode 2 for me was one of the most intense shoots. It was, I can't remember how many pages of script boards, but it seemed like we crammed in like Lord of the Rings trilogy into a day. I was tied up, emotionally sort of tied up as well, I suppose. And also working with an actor I haven't worked with, I felt like just an energy bouncing off each other, which just helped us plough through the day.
She's very strong-willed and very strong-minded, but she has grown up a little bit, and I think being in this situation especially would make you realise that you have your family there, and her and Stephen do have a heart-to-heart, and I think that that's really important for both of them. And I think as much as maybe Katie's grown up a little bit, I think that Stephen's starting to take her more seriously as an adult, because although she's a teenager, she is an adult and she is making these decisions in this kind of intense situation. And it's just a really nice moment between the two of them when they kind of have that little moment and that kind of brother, sister, sibling bond. And almost for a second you kind of forget that, like, you know, it's the end of the world or whatever, and maybe they've just had a row and they've made up like normal siblings do. And I think that's a really nice kind of emotional touch to it.
I went quite literal with that because they're literally tied together at one point.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do. So it's like, right, I'm going to have to but we're going to have to generate this character change in quite an efficient way. Mm-hmm. So they're literally tied together, and also they are forced to work together. So that's what I really want to do. Is like, right, to resolve the situation, you're going to have to agree and work together and gel to get out of this.
Turn around.
Interestingly, actually, there was this whole different opening that you wrote for 2, which we can perhaps infer that it still happened, but there's some government characters that you'll meet later, and you had an opening to this episode where they actually turned up and they did try to take his farmhouse as a sort of outpost.
Yeah.
And then that's why he was so jumpy to then shoot at a car that backfired, because he thought that was them coming back or more of them or something like that. And it worked really well, but it was just one of those things where, because we only had a day at that location, as with most of our shoots, we thought we just don't have time because we need to get into this drama. And as it was, we were really pushing the daylight. I think the sun was dropping when we were in the woods at the end there. So it was good we didn't do it. But yeah, that was just a nice idea, you know, to sort of tie things together. And just to show again how this character is going through this because of what's happening around him. It's not just us going off on a tangent with this person.
Sure. I mean, actually, 2 is probably the episode with the least visual effects in. And one of the things I like about visual effects is like getting those shots past the audience that they don't know is an effect shot. And we've got Victor's point of view looking at the spaceship, but there's also small little things like when Stephen pops open the shotgun. Obviously, the shotgun's actually been sealed off, has been blocked, and we could see that. So Al, our effects guy, had to go in and paint out those blockages, so it actually looks like it's an open shotgun.
Oh, wow.
So small little things like that where you just kind of going, right, we'll have to do that in visual effects, we'll have to change that, we'll have to change, and the audience will never know. As opposed to those big numbers, there's a spaceship in the sky, so that must be an effect shot. My
last point on that really that was important when I was writing the episode was thinking about Stephen and where he is sort of mentally and emotionally, because he's gone through a hell of a lot, and also he's gone through a lot since we've last seen him because of what's just happened. But also it's very gently alluded to in season 1, which I really wanted to play with, is that there's some subtle allusions to him having a bit of a troubled past. Maybe something to do with drink, and because there's a bit where Nicole goes, "Have you been drinking?" and I wanted to, and it's only very slight, but I wanted to look at that a little bit as well. And originally, in fact, like I said, that is the bit we pulled back. I went into that a little bit further in the original script, but it was a little bit.
I think he ended up getting drunk, didn't he?
He ended up getting drunk and sort of alluding to the fact that he might shoot himself.
And then it was one of those things as well, where it's like, it was a nice idea, but then of course you're like, well, everything else happens so soon after. What, he's now drunk for the rest of the series?
Exactly.
We don't get to cut to the next day, so we'd have had to deal with that. So it's great, but again, you're led by practicalities.
It's quite a somber episode, and actually on reflection, it is the only one that doesn't end on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Because that's what we've always done with Horizon. That's always what we've done for season 1 and the rest of the episodes from season 2.
And we kind of end the journey of season 1 because it was all about people getting to the farmhouse. Stephen hadn't been able to do that. So we deal with the aftermath of that. And then 3, they're back in the farmhouse, and as we'll see, things take off.